Good evening, Banger Racing fans, and welcome to Cage Full Throttle, episode 57. I'm Ed Fahey, and we have a full house tonight because, what can I say, it's been almost 6 months, but Banger Racing is back and back with a bang. But more importantly, so is Cage Full Throttle. We have a full house this evening, full house of discussion, and also a full house of panellists. So, without any further ado, let's meet them. He's back. He's been commentating the Banger World Series, but he seems to have a new job, which he might tell us about soon. It's Dom Brock.
And starting as we mean to go on, I think Dom literally had to step away for 2 minutes there. Oh, you can tell we're not.
Well, let's,
you can tell we've not done this for 6 months.
We can. Let's tell them how he jumped in there. Oh, looks he has jumped in altogether. But anyway, let's get the technical issues aside out of the way. Let's introduce James Keane, who seems to be good at those. Good evening, James.
Hello, Ed. Hello, everyone listening. Yeah, it's great to be back, both at track and both back talking about what the sport we love again. And yeah, hopefully for a good show tonight.
Yep. Well, he's finished uni, so that basically makes him a fully qualified member of society. Good evening, Jordan Hollands.
Good evening, Ed. Yes, good evening, everyone else. It's good to be back. It's been a long few months off, but that just means we're even more refreshed and ready to do a lot more podcasts for you guys.
And he's turned up wearing his full robes outfit. Let's bow down to the leader, Matt Josey.
Hello, Ed. Hello, everybody else. It's great to be back. It's been a while, but yeah, it's great to be back, isn't it?
Indeed. So we have a fairly crowded full throttle coming this evening. We're discussing the Banger World Series Round 1 at Northampton, the opening of Bradford, and the Stan Woods Episode 9. Also coming back to Eastbourne and Aldershot, Taunton, Carshorama. A few of the other unusual items that have happened this week. We'll also be previewing the Mildenhall vans. James Keane likes to play a game. Now, it's not like the Saw or any of those. It's a proper game. And then we've an absolutely jammed fixtures list for the next 2 weeks. But let's get things moving. Obviously, if you'd listened into our previous show a few weeks back from Motorsport with Attitude, we were talking a lot about the opening of Odstall Stadium in Bradford. And it reopened with Stan Woods Episode 9, the classic car meeting. Now, some people might say, if you're going to open a track, basically start small or start big. So Star Trek's basically went for the big one. I think they more or less did it now. None of us actually were there that weekend, unfortunately. We had other commitments on and that. But it looks to be a very good meeting. I've watched a few of the YouTube videos. As always, there are a few completely standout cars. I think James Still and Mr. Grumpy's Lincoln Zephyr, I think that was pick of the cars that you possibly car of the year already at this stage. The racing was very good. Obviously, unders and overs. And the beauty of the Stan Woods meeting is you can race the older pieces of junk or the older, more rotten cars, and you won't be mullered at the first corner. And obviously, the shale is a great leveler as well, because it takes an awful lot of the competitive advantage of stuff like, say, sticky tires and that out of it completely. So it looked to be a very good meeting. Matt, I know you're into the classic car meetings. Did you watch any of the YouTube videos or any of the photographs of the day? What do you think?
I saw very little of it, to be honest. I've not really had the time, but what I did see, it looked very good. The track is absolutely huge. I must admit, I think from what I saw from the photos and the videos, I got very similar sort of Hendersford vibes from it. Like you got, the pits at the top of the track, which is pretty strange but pretty cool, I think. The action looked pretty all right, didn't it? I'd say there was, I think 2 or 3 races got cancelled at the end of the day because obviously the short period they got to run the meeting in. But I think it looked pretty decent. There's a few Car of the Year attenders already in there, especially the car that 152 Mr. Grumpy James Dillon had on the day, which looked pretty cool. There's some few other cool cars. I think there's an Austin Princess limo as well, or something like that. Yeah, and then you had the Austin 2200 limo of Roscoe, so that looked pretty cool. So yeah, some good variety of classic cars again. And I think the action looked pretty good. I mean, it is quite a big track for, small classic cars, but I think, the drivers had fun. That's the main thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the feedback I got from the drivers seems to be very good. I mean, obviously with the shell track, it's down to the weather as well. So I think Star Trek's more or less got it bang on. Like, not an awful lot of us are Formula 1 soccer fans as well. They'll be back there actually this Monday coming. So a few people might see that as the real reopening. But no, I think the trial run worked very well. James?
Yeah, I mean, just exactly as you said there, Ed. It really did for the trial run of reopening as well with such a big event. Great to see it back. Obviously, last time it was ran at Stoke, it was a wet day where the shale got bogged down, and there was a bit of that. But you could see from the Grand Parade the cars and how special it was for it to reopen. You could also, we spoke to Kyle on our Motorsports Without Issued show, which the full show would actually be going back, should be out on YouTube now, actually. But he was speaking about the pride he was going to have to be able to wave that first green flag back at Odsall, which he did. And the track staff and all the team did really well. Absolute props to Steve Reese and Jackie Reese and all of the Star Tracks team for putting on that event. A bit of it probably was a bit of a trial run because obviously, like you said, the F1's about there over Bank Holiday, and that'll probably be, with as much as we'd have bangers, that in Star Tracks terms, that is the real holy grail for that track. But it was great to see the track reopen. It looked fantastic. What a theatre that is. I mean, you can imagine what it's going to look like with 10,000 people around that track. Obviously, as you said, Matt, with the hill, it's always going to be difficult with track clearances. Like you said, a couple of races got cancelled. We've said before, that's the problem with all banger meetings. We've spoke about it like at the Bears Bashes and stuff before, when it's all banger meetings. The banger drivers themselves want to be watching the race if they're not in the pits repairing their cars, and then turning the track around and stuff is always going to be difficult. But from everything we've seen and heard, and from the people there and from the starter himself, it went really well, and we can't wait to see more. I think this will be a track that'll be one of those things that is a bit one of the pinnacles of the sport in terms of how it must feel in that huge arena, how it will feel with a full stadium, and we look forward to more of the same.
And I think, just quickly, I want to say it's one of those tracks as well. When you first look at it on photos and stuff, you get that sort of wow factor. Like, you know, most banger tracks are very open and that, and obviously Wimbledon would always be well known as, like, the home of banger racing, and it's that sort of track you walk into it and you think, wow, this is amazing. I think Wimbledon, Bradford had that sort of similar vibe just by even looking at the photos. It's such a picturesque track, I think, is a good way to describe it.
It is. It reminds me of a cross between Wimbledon and Hansford. I mean, you look at the size of the grandstand and you walk up and look down like at Hansford. I'm sure most of us been to Hansford. The first time you go, you're literally on the East Bend. You walk up the bank and look down. The track's just spread out there in front of you. So, and look, compete it really. In terms of facilities, now it's very good as well, because that big grandstand is covered. So I know it might be a bit wet, and it might be interesting for the drivers and that, but you know, for the fans, it get to keep nice and dry anyway. And I mean, hopefully it won't be too long before we can kind of allow more capacity, because obviously every meeting that's coming up is pre-book only, so you know they're only letting so many people in. But no, it should be good. Jordan, you have any observations from the weekend?
Yeah, just first of all, again, as James said, a massive well done to Steve Reese and Jackie as well, because getting a track up and running during COVID certainly isn't an easy task, and I know that they had a lot of hoops to jump through with the local council and all the restrictions of operating at an elite sporting venue has. But no, it looked an absolutely awesome venue. Must be said, congratulations to the final winners, 252 Jonathan Wibberley, Mr. Wibbs, in his Smart Mark III Cortina, won the Unders final, and 173 Hot Sock Stephen Reynolds won the Unlimited Stanwoods Grand Final as well. So yeah, massive congratulations to those guys. Yeah, the F1s on Monday should be interesting, as we've sort of alluded to, and yeah, it should spice things up nicely with the World Final for the F1s actually being held there this year as well. So yeah, some great meetings to look forward to at Odsall.
Should be good. And Dom, who's rejoined us, you any observations, or you can get time to have a look? You're a busy man at the weekend. No, he seems to be on mute at the moment. We'll bring him back soon. But we'll just mention something else as well. At the moment, Wheelspin magazine, which is pretty much the only print magazine for oval racing bar stock cars, it's not looking good, unfortunately. The sales are down, just the interest is down. It's more the interest that's down is disappointing rather than sales, because everybody's got too used to all the social media posts about magazines, racing, all that kind of thing. So people want their racing fixed right now. They want to see the picture of the car now. They don't want to see it in a week's time. I mean, coming from someone who's basically witnessed the evolution of internet posting, I used to always say, anyone can put a picture on the internet, but it takes something special to get into a magazine. So unfortunately, it looks like one of the few magazines left that supports oval racing might be lost very shortly. James, what to say about that?
Well, I'm a massive supporter of Wheelspin, and I think, again, when we hear from Jordan in a minute, I mean, he is one of the regular contributors, but I've always so much respect and time for Dean Cox. He is a man who lives and breathes sport, and Wheelspin is such a fantastic publication. I've got much to the chagrin of my girlfriend, I've got folders full of them. They are such an amazing thing to have. Like the articles in them are excellent. The photography in it is excellent, and it's one of those things. It's difficult where, I mean, as Dean says, there is nothing that is quite like seeing your sponsors and your car in a full glossy centre page spread. But in the days of Facebook, less people are buying it. I think he found one of the most difficult things was that the amount of people supporting didn't never match the sales and the subscriptions. And I think it's one of those things that, what's in the song? You don't know what you've got till it's gone. And I think we will probably all feel like that if we end up losing this magazine. And to go over to Jordan now, I'm fairly sure he will feel even more strongly about it.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as you said, Ed, and sort of as you just alluded to there, James, it's almost a sign of the times, really. You know, people want their news and their updates as soon as possible, and the creation of social media and live updates has sort of further progressed that. So there's not really much time in the world for a print magazine, but that makes the print guys' job harder when they create a magazine, because they have to think of content that necessarily won't be out of date. And I think that's what Wolfspin does outstandingly well. You know, I can only can't say enough really about the contributors that we have for the whole quota of Speedway formulas. Everything from national hot rods to super stocks, and obviously Mark Holland for the bangers as well. Obviously, there's information in there. We have interviews, we have articles, we have meeting reports that won't be found anywhere else online. And I think that's what separates the magazine from the more general social media side of the sport. Obviously, that we've discussed them and we are a part of ourselves. But no, it's a real shame to almost see that it's struggling. But hopefully sales will pick up throughout this year, and maybe, just maybe, the magazine can carry on surviving. Because let's not forget, you know, the magazine has had a hard life. It's been passed down to various owners and stuff, and Dean has done a fantastic job with it since he took over with it, as well as obviously Michelle as well. You know, so much money, so much of their own money and time and effort has gone into publicising and printing the magazine every single month. And yeah, I just hope it continues, because it will be such a shame to lose it for the sport.
And on that point, George, it's a case that it's basically it's barely ever made a profit on a single issue. It's basically being run out of labour of love for the support, just hoping that with enough support it'll break even and will continue to be there. I mean, just a quick word about Dean Cox as well. George, you'll know, when in terms of what he does, in terms of wanting to try and publicise the sport, he gives up his time to go on radio. I don't know if it's Radio Ipswich or Radio Suffolk. I don't know, I'm not in that area. But he goes on there all the time to make sure that the publicity for the meetings are there. When we asked him to do a show with us for Speed Weekend a couple of years ago, he gave up probably 4 or 5 hours of his time just to sit there and record these clips with us. He's someone that is so passionate about the sport, and I think I mean, it's so much blood, sweat, and tears going into that magazine, and I don't think anyone wants to see it go. But it's one of those things that people think, oh, I'll pick up one next time. But I think if you do want to see that type of print media still around the tracks, now is the time to really go and support it.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, just to further the cause for Dean, he's been such a massive support of mine as well. You know, he's always supported me and my work for the magazine, but also outside of stock car racing, as it were. You know, he's introduced me to David Addison, who does the commentary on RTV4 for the British touring cars, as well as a plethora of GT racing as well. So yeah, Dean's been a massive part of my sort of rise in motorsport journalism. So yeah, I want to keep continuing to do that, and hopefully I can with the magazine. But it relies on you guys to buy it. So even if you like the page on Facebook, have another look through, and you'll find all the information on there to buy issues and to also invite your friends as well, because it is great.
It certainly is. I mean, like I said, unfortunately, in a way, it is a labour of love, because if it was a case that I had to make profit every time, it would just be gone. It just wouldn't happen. So I think, apart from that, I think Stock Car magazine is really the only magazine left. Like, when you think back pre-internet days, there was 5 or 6 magazines also racing. It was really a case of each formula had its own magazine. It's unfortunate, but I think just the fact that it's not getting the support, but it's just the way things are going, because I mean, you read about other magazines are just going to the wall because the interest isn't there and all the information is online. It is unfortunate, but I mean, if we can just support this and keep this one magazine going, just morally, it would make a good thing. But let's see what else we can discuss on this one. But hopefully we can say the wheel spin shall continue. Dom, I think you're back with us now. If he is,
we'll give it a try and see how it works.
We'll give it a try. Okay, we'll just briefly loop back to what we were talking later on. I know you're a busy guy at the weekend. Did you see much of the Stan Woods meeting? And what were your feelings on it?
No, I saw naff all of the Stan Woods meeting, it has to be said. But the closest I got to it was stopping at Cambridge Services on the way home and bumping into one of the drivers late at night. So I saw very little of it in the real sense. But the pictures I've seen, the angles you get from the stadium, it looks amazing, and it's a place that I'm definitely going to have to take time to go and see at some point this year. The racing looks like it was good as well. There were things that they needed to get right. It wasn't a perfect meeting from what I could gather after speaking with those guys at the services, and from what I could tell from the reaction online. But things look good, and it's definitely a positive start for the stadium. And they can definitely build on everything from there, and hopefully forge it as a top venue of the future.
Yeah, no, that's quite fair, Don. I mean, that's a good way of saying it as well. Like, we're all in agreement. It was a good start, so let's keep the momentum going. But one or two more interesting news items to discuss here. James, you're a marshal, so you're a man in orange. There was something unusual that popped up in Odsal regarding visibility.
Yeah, it is a strange one, and it'll be first in place for the Brisker F1 return. It appears that they've been told that spectators and people in the spectator area can't be wearing high visibility jackets. The reason being that they've been told as part of their I know. I mean, as part of their safety appraisal, it's so that in the CCTV control room, you got to remember it's a big sports stadium. Obviously, it's hosted rugby league finals and stuff, so it has different control procedures and stuff. But people within the spectator area not being able to wear high vis. Now, I mean, the first thing I thought was with bangers. I mean, how many high vis jackets do you see in a banger crowd? I mean, I don't envy the people that are going to have to police that. I mean, I can understand it on a safety level. I can sort of understand why it would make it clearer that they could see on the CCTV who's a member of staff and who's not. But I don't envy people that are going to have to police that. It's going to be an absolute nightmare.
Definitely not. I mean, I know it's often ridiculed that a high-vis jacket is part of the uniform almost of banger racing, but as the owner of 2 or 3 of them in different colours and different shades of yellow, I didn't buy it so it would stick out. I bought it because it was cheap, it was warm, it was waterproof, and it didn't matter if it got dirty. Like, the first one I was nearly black with and was finished with it in between actually racing and using photography, working on the cars late at night or lying on the ground outside. They come in handy as crawling mats, or if you have to lie on the ground underneath the car or some description, handy for that. But I mean, as well as that, I mean, half the guys involved in racing, that's also what they wear for work. Like, half them have recovery plaster on the back of them. Or some people seem to look right oval shot. I don't think I actually have a caged high vis. I think Matt might want one of those. But, so you go from there. But no, it's a strange one. I think as well, I mean, you look at any of the TV covers at the Formula 1 stock cars, you see loads of them in the crowd. Again, the mechanics are not wear them because, I mean, if you're going to be crawling around on wet, muck or whatever, it's the last thing you want to be wearing is something that's going to absorb that, so your whole back is cold, wet, damp. It's not good. But Matt, I know you're a big high vis fan. Any feelings on that?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't really wear them, if I'm honest, at racing that much now. I used to when I was a bit younger. and started going racing, I used to wear high vis a lot. But I'm sort of I like to, if I'm not doing the photography on the infield, which is where you got to wear high vis, I tend to just wear t-shirt, hoodie. That's about it, really. So I haven't got any sort of major argument. But I suppose generally it is not a great idea, really, because there's a lot of banger acts out there that are wearing them, and they're quite warm, aren't they? When it's a cold day, like your heavy metal classics or Civil Wars. So I think there's going to be a major backlash around it, but we'll wait and see. But I can't see how they can enforce it myself personally.
It's just going to be a really weird sort of like juxtaposition in the sense that you're going to have mechanics who it's safer for them to be in the pits wearing high vis, might be having to change their coat on their way through the pit gate to be back in the spectator area for the race. I mean, it's. But again, what can you do if that's the safety rules?
It's like the idea of cracking down on people using their phones to take photos at a race meeting. It won't happen. It just won't happen.
It reminds me of the old Goodwood Revival. You basically had to be wearing period dresses. You went in the gate, so you couldn't go in wearing jeans, a hoodie, and training. You had to be wearing your tweed jacket and your shoes. But I can't. Again, as James said, I can see where they're coming from, but it's just not going to work. That would be my view on it. But we'll move on. Just double checking the fairly busy schedule here. Yeah, one more news item meeting where one of us was at. The Bayern World Series made a return to Hampton at the weekend. Tom, you were there.
Yeah, I was, and what a day it was. We experienced all 4 seasons in one day. It has to be said. What an absolutely crazy day it was weather-wise, but it was good to be back. I mean, I've been highly anticipating the day, and I think it was long overdue given the amount of time we'd all been patient. My day was actually quite busy and in parts frustrating because of the way things went, but overall I was very excited going into the meeting. First 3 heats, must be said, were rather tame by BWS standards, certainly compared to that of last year. Last year, obviously, were very different conditions, though. The downpour at the end of the first heat, with rain was lashing down my face, was probably, it made the track very difficult to navigate for some of the drivers. Winner of the first heat, I believe, was 6:23. Ricky Hutton. My mistake. I've got that wrong in my notes. The first heat was won by 1:03 of Jack Deacon. Team Black, obviously on form, one of the teams of the year last year, and getting right back into things with a win on the first heat. No real major hits. I think most of the entertainment was provided by Aston Burt, who brought that fabulous Daimler DS 420 along. Second heat was a bit of a confusing one from the starters roster's perspective. A lot of changes on lead, and I think the race probably ran a few too many laps in the end because we were trying to suss out who the leaders were. But in the end, that one went to 247 of Bro. Third heat, again, this was pretty chaotic because this one, well, for the first time, I'd say this was the on-track action, as all the Glads and Bears came out in the third heat, and this one was taken by 6:23 Tricky Ricky Hutton. As things kicked off in the consolations, this is where the meeting really took an absolute lift in performance from all the drivers. Absolutely fantastic, these consolation races. We barely had a finisher in either of them, and I think that was just that really set us on course for the way the rest of the evening was going, because it was a destructive night from there on in. Really, those heats were spectacular to watch. I think that's really what the BWS should be aiming for at each meeting now. Chaotic races where we've only got under 5 finishes, because they're something that I wasn't expecting. Unfortunately, I haven't got the winners in front of me on those two. Apologies for my disorganisation and my awkward way of presenting myself this evening. But going into the wild card, we had the 3 race winners. I remember Jack Deacon and Bro pulled at the back of the grid, and Tricky Ricky Hutton pulled front. So arguably the 2 more renowned racers of the heat winners were sent to the back, with Tricky Ricky at the front. It was a pretty good race. At the front, Tricky Ricky had it mostly under control until some late cautions, which brought some of the big players back into the mix. And of course, 617 Jack Overy came all through the pack from around 5th position after that red flag. And in the end, it was really quite simple for him. He didn't have to do too much. He is so spectacular on all surfaces. No matter what goes on around him, he always seems to stay out of trouble. And he came through to take the win on that one. Showdown was, much of the same with the consolations. That really did turn into a DD. I think I recall speaking with Andy Hankin in commentary at the time, saying how the Showdown used to be last car standing, or first person to finish 10 laps, and that the prize money would double if you were the last car standing. I thought for the first time ever this might be the last ever DD out of a Showdown, but sadly it wasn't the case. We had a few cars come through. One so close to the end was Alfie Lee, who came to within about 6 feet of the flag before just coming to a complete halt. And then in the end, one of the Team V cars came through to take the victory on that one. It was overall a really good day. Like I said, it was a day of all seasons weather-wise, and it was, certainly a trying day at some points for myself. Big shout out to the historic stock cars, who had one of the strangest accidents I've ever witnessed, where the rear axle decided to detach itself from one of the cars and cause a somersault as going into turns 3 and 4. Caught that one luckily on the cameras, and that is available to view for anyone interested. But safe to say, I've never seen an accident like that one before. The micro stocks as well, also putting on a good show and giving plenty of action with some good performances, I think, going in from the number 66 car, who was appearing in the top 3 multiple times throughout the evening. So good performances all round. Not a huge amount of material, as I think was to be expected because of the way it clashed with Stanwoods, but there's opportunity for the Entertainers League to really kick off in the future rounds and really see the material start to appear like we did in the latter end of last season.
No, that's good. I mean, obviously, when you said available to view, there's of course on speedworth.tv, £12 a month. Basically, gets you as much footage as you can take. I mean, it's basically, as we discussed before, it's basically Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever you want to call it, Now TV for over racing.
Well done there, Ed. Just in case people didn't get the fact you were Irish, just throw in the fact you thought it was in euros. Just in case there weren't enough clues.
I could have said 12 of Her Majesty's finest pounds. I could have said that. We didn't.
Yeah. So just on the subject of the BWS, on the way to Aldershot the next day, I got a lift off the lap scorer of the night, Matt Shipham, who was the lap scorer at Northampton, and he was just saying how unlucky Ricky was in the sense that at the time of the first red flag, he had him lap scored effectively over 3/4 of a lap away. But it was just after the first red flag, obviously with the pack back on him. I mean, you wouldn't bet against Jack Overy in that situation in terms of his level of control. Also spoke to Callum Spilsbury, who's a member of the Inco race staff, and he was just saying how he was absolutely buzzing after the meeting because it was sort of felt like exactly the start he wanted at Northampton. The track was excellent. So big shout out to Sarge. Who spent hours and hours and days making sure that track was ready, whatever the weather. And I think it was a really good start for Northampton. I think it's going to be an excellent season down there.
I was just going to add on to that, James. The track, that's to say, despite me going on about all these 4 seasons that we experienced, the track was impeccable condition even by the end of the night. It remained consistent, I think, throughout the night, and that was the most important thing. We never got any ruts, holes. There was no sort of plough lines that you sometimes get in track, where cars accelerate out of the corners. It remained in really good condition throughout the night, and I think it was a fantastic job done by all the team prepping the track that night.
I think Northampton got a bit of grief when it first switched to shale, but I think it's really bedded in now. And I said, anyone that knows Sarge or sees the work he's put in will know how much work goes into that track to have it in the place it is now. And it really has bedded in as a shale track now.
Oh, this is it. I mean, basically the initial cynics have been silenced because people go, do we need another shale track? We do. I mean, it's been a case of, it's been very well planned. I know we had one or two messy meetings, but I mean, it's very rare you get a bang on first time. So I mean, it's good that it's now a shailway as opposed to a raceway. But we'll just move on briefly again. We've more meetings come this weekend. I should talk about Eastbourne and Aldershot. I know, James, you're beside yourself to tell us about these ones.
Oh no, the absolute buzz to go back to Arlington for what is effectively was the first meeting of the season. It was great to be back under the lights at Eastbourne. For anyone that's been to Eastbourne knows what a fantastic place it is to watch at or race at or be around, because it's got that feeling, it's close in, the spectators are there, and under the lights it's fantastic. And for the first meeting back, we had the Back to Basic Van Bangers, which is the meeting that's usually held on around the 28th, the first Saturday after Christmas, but for obvious reasons had to be postponed. In the first heat, we had very good friend of Cage, very good friend of mine, and all-round smiley person, Liam Horner, T-Boy in 828, taking a day off from marshalling to go out in the smaller set of the vans and immediately spinning on the first corner and causing a massive roadblock, which bent his steering arms, which meant for the rest of the meeting he didn't get many more laps out that van. But what it did mean is that he left me down on his usual corner, the action corner at Arlington, and there was quite a bit of action in the first heat. It was basically the vans based on cars, so we're talking Fiesta vans, Corsa vans, converted estates, that sort of thing, and that was won by number 18, James Friston, Turkish. Last season he must have won about 50 races, and this season he took what was probably the first banger win of the year. The second heat was for the bigger vans, and it was a fairly steady race that ended up being won by number 41, Dare Fearless. Heat 3 was an all-in heat, and this is when things started to kick off, because the bigger vans that got spun out then just were reversing back and forth from the Shailway back to the barrier and back again. And in the end it was won by 759 Tom Stern. There was a couple of stoppages, but there was lots of vans just trying to block the path, and the smaller vans were trying to spin them out, the bigger vans were going into them side on, and a lot of action. Heat 4, the final, was basically the same again. That was won by 760 Joey Reynolds, who was actually in a left-hand drive van and basically had to pick his way through quite a lot. Joey, no stranger to winning a back-to-basic race, but it was really good action the whole way through. There's a big shout out to the junior bangers as well, who had a great meeting. Harvey Webb taking the final, unlucky not to win 2 races actually after he got a technical disqualification for a puncture in one of the heats. We then moved on to Aldershot on Sunday for the start of the Back to Basics season there with Micro Mayhem. There was a few interesting cars. Keithy, we ran a competition on our Cage Facebook page to who could name his car. There weren't many who could. It was a NASA Sutera. Have I pronounced that correctly? I don't even barely know what the car is, let alone how to pronounce it. And Mike,
didn't even know. Never even seen one or heard of one before. So there you go. That says a lot for knowing my car knowledge.
And then, of course, Mike Parry, who was in a Peugeot 104, and I spoke to him afterwards, and he said he bought it for 60 quid because he was down at a car auction with a few other banger drivers. It came up, it was absolutely in awful condition, and he basically bid on it, didn't really think. First bid won, 60 quid, take it. But it lasted all day, and he was out in there in the DD, and he had a great time. The Bilge Brigade living up to their name. The heats were both steady. They were both split as well. There was a lot of hot rods to be got through that day, so we couldn't have an all-in second heat. So both the heats were split. And but in the final, Chris Parry took the win, and there was a huge roll from another Chris Davis on the back straight. Huge shout out for 92 Saturday boy Jake White, who did pull up and anchor up because of the way it was rolled up, so we could get on track and sort that out. But there was quite a lot of action flying around the whole track. Lauren had a roll as well just after the restart, but that was won by Chris Parry, and it's for those of you who watch Back to Basics at Aldershot, it's quite rare to see Chris in a fairly modern car and racing to win, but he did. I think second in that race was Cecil, who spun out his longtime friend 310 Mark Longhurst to get the win. The DD was a standard Aldershot DD, exactly what you expect. No one saving cars. Lauren backing into anything she could see. Keithy taking any shot he could. Weevil and Harvey Duval Jr. exchanging a few hits. The winner did get a lap of honour, but I'm not sure it was declared because it had to be a red flag because of a fire on a car with only 2 cars running. But it was a great return to Aldershot, and exactly what we saw last season at Aldershot, and hopefully what we'll see for the rest of the season.
That's it. I mean, like we say, Aaron, it's good to be back. And I mean, the enthusiasm's there among the drivers, never mind anybody else. I mean, sure, there's been nearly the guts of a year's worth of itch to scratch, so everyone's really taking it up. So we'll move on to another preview of a meeting. Basically, usually a big May bank holiday weekend. Move back a few weeks. It's the Taunton Crasherama. Now, Jordan's ready for this one.
Yeah, obviously, Taunton is now going to happen on the 11th of June, which is a Friday night before the Ringwood All Mark 1 and Mark 2 Granada meeting. This Sunday's meeting is still going ahead with back to basic overs and the auto speed rookie bangers as well. But unfortunately, due to what was a rather poor and low turnout of unlimited national bangers booked in, I think there was between 8 and 10 on the list, if that. Lev took the decision to cancel it and make it a Friday night meeting. I'll be honest, I'm not too sure if that'll have any other any effect or any improvement on the numbers, but we shall wait and see. I mean, one thing you can't fault auto speed on is their willingness to try and make the meeting to succeed and to have an entry list of maybe 20 to 30 cars, because as we all know and as we've all seen over the last couple of years, especially, Taunton Crasherama doesn't need a lot of numbers to make it a good meeting. It just needs the right mix of drivers and maybe one or two special cars maybe to create some really good action. So it's a shame, but I don't think the Mullicott meeting on Sunday probably has done it any favours, which I'm sure we'll get onto very, very shortly.
Yeah, we'll be coming to that soon. Before we do that, though, we'll let Matt Josey basically introduce the Mildenhall fans meeting, because Matt is the world's biggest fan of man bangers. But Matt, you can open, and then Dom, who'll be there. What do you think of it? So Matt first.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Ed. Yeah, so it is a return to a big van national banger racing. Not just once, not just twice, but 3 times across Mildenhall on Saturday, and then both on Monday you've got Arlington big vans and the big van bangers at King's Lynn for their first fan meeting of the year. So Mildenhall vans on Saturday night, a bit lower than expected, but not surprising really because of the fixture clashing this weekend with van meetings. So Mildenhall so far has got about 12 vans booked in, including the likes of 570 Jordan Cumming, 625 Joshua Gooch, and surprise name on there, 209 Tom Waller. It's safe to say you don't need a big turnout of vans to have a decent meeting, and I think this will hopefully be a similar case here. Just look back at 2019, the last time it was held, because last year it wasn't held because of COVID, obviously. And with just 14 vans, I believe it was that year, it was still a pretty decent meeting. So Mildenhall and big van bangers this Saturday. If you've got tickets, it still might be worth going. Big vans don't need a great big turnout, so I think that'll be the case there. They've also got quite a lot of junior bangers in support that night as well, plus the national saloon stock cars, which are always great to watch as well. Moving on to probably my highlight of the year is down at Arlington for their big take on the big van meeting. 24 are booked in as of 7 p.m. tonight. Unfortunately, since the return of big van racing Arlington in 2010, it looks like there will sadly be no squad invasion this year, which is going to be very, very strange on the day, but I'm sure the drivers have put on a great show nonetheless. There's one bear on the list so far, 321 Kieran Fry. There's also the Cowboys pairing of 885 Ash Hanby and 737 Elliot Finney. They're bound to put on a show on the day. They were brilliant 2 years ago. I think they had a bus and a Dodge 50 2 years ago, last time it was held. So they'll be out there to cause some mayhem. 288 Cole Sout's on the list as well. He's a bit of a wrecker. You've got the son of our main sponsor. You've got 94 Jack Anscombe, among quite a few other drivers as well. But it's also worth mentioning, it has been made public, 757 Tom Farron of the Wonky Donkey team has a massive, well, not massive, but quite a big LDV bus for the occasion. So that's at least one cool van we know of going to that one. Anyway, and I haven't got a list in front of me, I'm afraid, but Kings Lynn as well, Monday, has big van bangers, and there's at least 20 on the list for that. So that should be a good session as well, leading up to their Crash for Cancer in August. So that's pretty much it. Van bangers are back, which, as you can tell, I'm very excited about.
Well, so I'm sure Dom is as excited as you are.
He probably is.
Yeah, I am. I mean, Mildenhall is where I've taken duties this coming Saturday. I'm 12 isn't a huge number, and it's by no means it's by no means going to set any records. But the last running of this event, it was DVD worthy and worthy to add to my collection, because it was a solid meeting. It had a lot of things going on, and like you say, Matt, it only had 14. And so I'm hoping that this year, even though we may still see a small rise in numbers, I'm hoping that you don't need wall-to-wall fans to make it a good evening out. And certainly Mildenhall is as good a venue as any to sort of prove that point.
Dom, and it could be worse as well. If I bring you back to Aldershot big vans in 2015, that was a waste of time for me. Just 4 big vans that time, so it could be worse. I think it should be a decent session.
Yeah, I think that was the year when the 3.5 ton rule came into play, and a lot of people
that was quite funny. That was quite funny because that was when everyone was going, "Oh no, we don't want the squad's big buses turning up," and of course, Speedoff gave them what they wanted, and nobody supported it. And I think that's been a similar case, even at places like Ringwood Raceway. People moaned about the squad buses, and as soon as they banned them, nobody did the meeting, and it ended up getting cancelled. So, that's how it goes sometimes. But there you go.
Van audiences or van drivers it's always a very strange thing, because you either get people who love or hate van meetings, and the drivers that take part, you're either a person who drives a bus or you're a person who doesn't like a bus, and there seems to be no mid ground.
I think
sometimes, it's a strange state of affairs.
I think it depends on the track. Like Arlington is very suited to the big buses now, and the drivers seem to like it, and obviously the fans do on a bank holiday. Obviously with COVID, it's very limited tickets available. I think it's sold out now again. But of course, that massive bank holiday crowd it usually attracts. It works. I mean, it depends on the track really. Some tracks are better suited to the 3.5 ton rule, i.e. Stan Lake seems to have quite a good van meeting with that rule, but it just depends on the track really. So. Yeah. I
mean, Mildenhall isn't exactly shy when it comes to its fan meetings. In the past, we've seen plenty of big things turn up there, and even in 2019, I think it was I think it was either one of the Gypsy Crew, or whether it might have been Marcus Chant. Is he still Van World Champion now? Because I don't know how it all works, but he there were some pretty big things going on at Mildenhall a couple of years back, and it was really entertaining evening. The DDs always seem to go on forever, and it's good fun seeing who wins the war of attrition. Combined with the national saloons, fresh from their controversies at United Downs, I think that will be a pretty heated field out there on Saturday evening.
Yep, no, it should be good. I mean, the vans and the shale is always a good combination as well. So, another meeting that we've need to review from the weekend. Of course, Matt will know about this one, the A1 Open at Stanlake. So, Matt, this one.
Yeah, I am. So the A1 Open was probably one of the most underrated meetings of 2020 pre-COVID. It was great. You had a good turnout of cars. You had a great turnout of machinery, and the action was what made it really great last year. For those who don't know, it was originally the 3 Litre sponsored meeting for many years, at least 20 years anyway at Stanlake. And then, of course, Keith decided to pull out of that, and then it's Gary Webb's company, the A1 Group. They started sponsoring the meeting. So it started a little bit later this year in May. It was meant to be March or end of February time like last year. So what I will say quickly is the turnout was a bit lower than expected, and I think that is again because of the fixture congestion and generally fixture congestion. On the day, the turnout was, I think it was about 13 each class, which wasn't bad at all. But the cars on the day, some of them were absolutely superb. In the Unlimiteds, 262 Runa had the roller limo. That was absolutely beautiful when that turned up. That was a real head turner. That was So you had Macaulay Mills of a Lincoln Town Car limo, a shortened version, may I say. There was a pair of XJ6 Jaguars for number 7 Smurf and 349 Guppy, respectively. Joey Reynolds was brave. He took out a Ford Capri in the unlimited class, which is pretty interesting to see. So, seeing as they normally are sort of an unders type car. Gary Reynolds had the Super Estate, which was a bit different. Of course, we got to talk about the car of the day in the end, which was Jack Reynolds'. Let me load this back up now. It was a sports first. It was a, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, the Soto Fire Sweep Shopper. We was told it would be something. Yeah, we was told it would be something extraordinary. And then we was told by Guy Webb that it would be a sports first manufacturer sports first, and we had no idea what it'd be, and that was absolutely superb when that turned up. It turned up late, may I add, but when we saw it, our jaws just dropped on the infield. It was absolutely amazing. The unders had nothing really special in the pits on the day, but I mean overall the heats, if I'm honest, were a bit roddy. Nothing really happened. The finals got a bit livelier. The unders final was quite good as well, despite a very small field of national bangers out for that one. The TMT got stuck in all day, and as well as Black Nuts got an Oppo, former cream team driver, and Aaron Charles then done Black Nuts big time, which is pretty cool. The DD time, very limited amount of cars, but the DDs weren't bad overall. There was a few good hits in the unders and a few really good hits in the unlimited DD, especially the limo on limo action. That was pretty superb to see. But yeah, I mean, overall, it wasn't quite the epic of last year's event, but I think it's fair to say it was to be expected due to the fixture congestion at the weekend. And I'm sure Gary Webb will be putting out all the stops for next year's event to be even better. So, yeah, it wasn't a bad day overall at Stanley.
That was good. And the refreshing thing I noticed about basically the two top cars of the weekend, Jack Starr's DeSoto and Mr. Grumpy's Lincoln, they weren't known about. Now, fair enough, the DeSoto was known about a bit because it was kind of passed around. It'd been through the hands of a few drivers, but nobody knew it was going to come at the weekend. And the same with Mr. Grumpy's car. I mean, he's renowned as well as he's a bit like Gary Webber. He kind of buys and sells classic cars. He races Sunday, he'll sell other ones on. Plus, for all the postings he does online, basically all the junk that he's been bringing in for scrap, or a few nice classic cars he picks up to sell on, he didn't say a word about the Lincoln. And I mean, that's the best, because remember years ago, there was no winter. You didn't know what was coming until you were there. So there you go. Probably two top cars of the year. There they were in the pits. Nobody knew about them until they arrived in the pits. So I think that's a bit refreshing, really. But we'll move on again. Bryson Walker, Mr. Brick, he's not actually here this evening, but he's put forward a preview for Yarmouth and the Weeman Memorial meetings, James, hasn't he?
He has indeed, yeah. Brick can't be here tonight. He's actually running the excellent caged Xbox League that he runs on a Thursday, which clashes with our podcast broadcast time. So anyone that with Wreckfest on Xbox, go and check that out, because it really is one of the best leagues out there. But he sent this in. Firstly, talking about the Yarmouth Memorial, which I know is actually the Aaron Weeman King Memorial is something that Bryson's very involved with and was part of trying to get as many drivers booked in as possible. And this is what he had to say. Yarmouth sees the return of the ever-popular Aaron Weeman King Memorial for the Micro Bangers, with 44 cars booked in. Sponsorship of the event comes courtesy of our friends at Northern Bangers, who have put £200 sponsorship up for the meeting, entertainer and hardest tryout, which is exactly what Aaron would have loved. On the topic of entertainers, there's several top entertainers on the list, including a fleet of Predators, the Joker brothers, Adam and Sean Rowell, and as well local favourites 247 Bro and 548 Big Al. So it should be a great evening. So that's down at Yarmouth, which would be an excellent meeting. Some great other formulas on as well for race fans in general. And then speaking about what's going on in Ilfracombe down at Mullicott Raceway, he was saying, if anyone else is still looking where to go for the weekend, though, please don't forget the awesome meeting set to take place down at Mullicott Raceway. The No Hopers have put in some top work on both car and organising front, with Michael Winter at the forefront of organising a great list for both the Unlimited and 2 litre bangers, raising money for 2 excellent charities, British Heart Foundation and Cancer Research UK, in memory of Dave and Sandy. Camping is welcome, get yourselves down to Devon for the weekend. And also, in terms of British Heart Foundation, my girlfriend works for them, and I see firsthand every day the amazing work they do. And obviously, Cancer Research is a charity that everyone will have someone that they know that will have been affected by that illness. So what a fantastic event for down there. And as well, Devon, what a great place to go camping for the bank holiday weekend. So it's not a race where we talk about a lot, is it? Ilfracombe, South West Bangors, Mullacart Raceway, but it's shaping up to be a really good event down there. So anyone down in that area or fancies a nice little bank holiday trip, get yourself down there.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, there's plenty happening this weekend, and a fairly long list of fixtures coming up. But before we do that, I know James likes playing games with us. So, James, what's the big game this evening?
Okay, so it's a return to the games night here. We've been away for a while, so I thought we should do it. So, first of all, I've split you into two teams. Ed and Jordan, you're going to be a team. Do you want to come up with an interesting team name before we go on?
The Legends.
The Legends. And Matt and Dom?
The
Van Lovers.
Yeah, Van Love. I don't know.
I like
Van Love.
actually.
Yeah, Van Love. Yeah.
Van Love. Surely Vandals would have been a better pun, but never mind.
Van Love.
Okay, so the way the game works is, I say quite simple, but we'll see how it goes. Whoever, I'll flip a coin in a minute. Actually, let's flip the coin now. Right, heads or tails, Ed?
Tails.
It is tails. You're going to be going first. I'm going to give you...
Hey, hang on a second. I was going to say, can we go second because we won the toss?
I just said I'm going to flip the coin to see who goes first, so too late. So...
Ref.
Yeah,
Get on with it.
How much has Matt bribed you tonight?
I am the ref.
We did, yeah.
Right, so basically the way it works, I'm going to give you a topic, and you're going to have to bid how many you think you can name. So don't say them out loud, otherwise you'll give the other team some answers. But between you and Jordan, you're going to have to say how many you can name. I'll tell you how many there are. The first topic is winners of the... It's an easy one to get you going, so believe me, you didn't want to go second. Winners of the Caged Open, either in the overs or unders category. There is 6 in total. How many do you think you can name?
3.
So, okay.
We'll go.
Ed, you going to go with 3?
Yeah, I'll go 3, yeah.
Okay, so we'll go over to the other team. Do you want to bid 4 or higher?
We're bid 4.
Okay, so it goes back over to you guys. Do you want to bid 5 or let them name it?
Let them name it.
Yeah, let them name it.
Okay, Matt and Dom, winners of the Caged Open, either unders or overs. You've got 4 to name. Go.
All yours, Mr. Josey.
Yeah, I'll go for it. 226, Liam Bricknell.
Correct. Unders 220.
Yep, 760, Joey Reynolds.
Correct. Overs champion 220.
383, Rory Adams.
Correct. Unders champion 2019.
Oh.
Last one for the win, or they get the point.
Hang on.
Don't fail me now, Matt.
Don't rush me. Hang on, don't rush me.
Oh, hold on, we're going to have a counter here.
364, Nathan Olden.
Correct. Okay. Well, let that go. And Jordan, I have got a countdown. If I think you're stuttering, I'm actually counting down from 10, so I am a bit paying attention. So that's the 4. So well done, Matt. Anyone else want to try and guess what the other 2 are? You've missed the Unders champion from Unders champion 2018.
Oh, who was that again?
Number 7.
Oh, Aaron Charles.
Ario. And the other one was a world champion who won the Caged Open in the same year.
Oh, 916, Cameron Bradford.
907, but it's close.
917, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so Ed and Jordan got to bid first that time, so this time Matt and Dom get to bid first. There are 16 in total of this, and it is Speedworth World Champions since the year 2000. There are 16 in total because some people have won multiple championships, so there are 16 in total.
Yeah. Okay.
How many do you think you can name?
Okay. Give me 1 sec. I would say
no tabs opened, Matt.
Yeah, no. If anyone cheats on it,
there's no tabs. No, there's no tabs. Trust me, there's no.
Should we go with a conservative number to start?
4.
Should we go with 6? Oh, okay.
Can you name more? Can you name more than what I've
okay, no,
I could do 6.
Okay,
Let's go 6. Let's go 6. Let's go 6. Let's go 6. Trust me. Let's go
Jordan
6.
and Ed, have you got a higher bid than 6?
8.
Oh man.
Sorry. Is this since the year 2000? Yeah.
That's right. Since the year 2000.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go 8.
We'll go 9.
Do you want to discuss that with your team, mate, before you do it? Because if
Okay,
you
go with the.
I mean,
Okay,
I'm
okay,
happy
go
to
with the-
try.
Okay, go with the 9.
okay, you want them to go with the 9.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
okay. So 9 to name Speedworth World Champions since the year 2000.
You go with yours, Dom. You shout yours out.
So, Willie Scoyles,
Correct. 2001.
Yeah. Gary Madgwick. That might not be true, or
No,
I bet it might be too early.
It was in the 90s. That's a loss.
Ah,
I mean, it started so
I
hopefully.
could have gone with the obvious ones.
Yeah, I mean, you probably should have, to be fair.
Right. Okay. So we got Oris 1, 2, 4.
You have already lost, by the way, Matt.
Yeah, I was going to say,
For goodness sake, I've got
I'll
about
say-
8 here. I've got about 8 here.
You're not
Yeah,
a
like,
cat,
like,
Matt. You don't have 9 lives.
I can hear a lot of keyboard whacking in the background, so I don't know.
No.
I'll take the fall for that one, Matt.
It's okay.
No, that's this.
That makes it 1-1. So you could have had 382 Danny Hunt won it in 2000. You got Willie Scoyles, 355 Mark Simmons 2002, 22 Dale Vincent
46.
2003, 46 Keith
82.
Painter 2004, 158 Shane Davis 1-2 2005 and 11, 331 Jason Jackson, which I thought you might have started with at least, 2006, 2007, 2012, and the other obvious one, obviously Dale Hughes, 3 championships 2008, 10 and 16. Paul Tompkins, 2009. Lee Hughes, 2013. Dean McPhillamy, 14. Jack Overy, again. Stephen Bolton, Carl Kozowski, Mickey Maskell Jr., Sid Madgwick.
Where's the fun in going with the obvious ones? There's no fun in that. Go for the niche ones first. No one would have. There's a few there that I wouldn't have got, admittedly, had you not say it. But I'll at least try and get the difficult ones first. Then you can have an easy breeze to the line.
Okay.
Evidently that went wrong.
The next category is something we've sort of had on a quiz before, but it's a bit different. And Ed and Jordan, you're to bid first. There are 10 different flags that you'll find on an ORCI starter stand. One of them is never used. I'm going to give you a little hint to say one of them is never used in Bangor Racing and one of them's rarely used in Bangor Racing. But flags only, so not boards. There are 10 in total.
6.
Okay.
I can't beat that personally.
Dom?
I'll say, Ed, do you want to go first?
No, hold on. And Dom, have you got a better bid than that?
No, I can't anyway. I'm terrible with flags and
six is the
boards and
bid.
whatever.
We'll leave them to it.
Okay, Ed?
Okay. My favourite flag, red,
Correct.
yellow,
Correct.
checkered,
Correct.
blue.
Correct.
That's 4, isn't it?
That's 4.
Yeah.
Checkered flag.
You've said that already.
Oh, sorry. Union flag. Union Jack.
Union flag, correct. One more.
And
Go on,
then
Jordan.
the scrutineering flag, the white flag with the red cross to signify a car problem.
Yeah, I mean-
and you need to pull off.
Correct. I mean, the easier one to gone for would have been green, but fair enough.
Green, yeah, I was about to say there's the green. You forgot the green flag.
Yeah, so,
But same as Dom. What's the point in going for the easy ones, man?
so that's yeah. So that's 2 to Ed and Jordan. The flags you didn't get was green, black, white with blue spot, which is rarely ever used in Bangor Racing, and the one that is never used in Bangor Racing is the white with blue stripes.
What's that for?
That is
I'll
for,
say, what's that for?
that's for non-contact racers that get 3 blue flags in a row to make sure that they give away they have to give up their position.
Ah, okay.
Now, this is interesting the way the coin toss has gone, because this is right up Jordan Street, so pressure on Matt and Dom here, because if they get this, they've won. And it is, since 2000, PRI/ORC Bangor World
Oh,
Champions.
Jesus. Literally, that's the least interest. That's the one world fun I've no interest in.
Be careful, Matt. You'll make enemies saying that.
I'm honest. I don't know. Dom, can you name many?
5.
I could do it. Yeah, if you can do 5, do 5. I can name probably 2 or 3.
All right, that's
If you can add any more, but
the bid is 5.
Okay, we're going to up the
Now
bid.
waiting for Jordan to just do 10 or something.
Yeah,
I think Jordan.
Jordan has. Yeah, Jordan shall bid. Bid, Jordan.
As they've only bid 5, we'll go 8.
Oh, that is a big bid. Now, remember,
can't match that.
If Jordan does this, he's won though, so you're not even tempted just to guess, or just you're going to hope he gets one, or you're going to hope he gets one wrong. Because there's only 16, so that's naming half of them.
Well, he's not going to get them wrong, but at the same time, I don't know whether I prefer him to show off or me to make a tit of myself. I don't know what I'd rather at the moment.
Yeah,
we are past the
I could try.
You're going to do it? You're going to bid 9, or you're going to let
if
him
you
go
think
for
you can
8?
do it, if you think you can do it, Dom, I'll try and help.
Well, I don't think I can do it, but I just want to try and stop him from winning.
You can discuss between yourself.
Desperate.
You can discuss between yourself before doing an answer, as long as you don't just do what Matt does and jump in and get it wrong. Oh, sorry, what Dom did. Sorry, not Matt. Sorry, it's usually Matt that gets it wrong. You can see where I got confused.
If you think you can do it, Dom, go for it. Just do it.
I really don't know. I haven't actually got PRI World Finals either, so I can name the obvious ones, I think, from this, and I can probably name the more recent ones, but I'm going to leave it to him.
Okay, Jordan and Ed, the bid is with you for 8. If you are going to discuss it, try and make it clear as opposed to just saying it, otherwise I'll say you're wrong.
No, I'll let Jordan handle this one.
Oh, okay. Pressure's on. 337 Ashley Garrett.
Correct, 2019. First one at Mendips.
440 Macaulay Mills.
Correct, recent and reigning ORC World Champion.
331 Jason Jackson.
Correct, 2013 and 2016.
188 Matt Fuller.
Correct, 2005, 2009.
Number 10 Paul Whiteman.
2007, correct.
294 Lee Hughes.
2010, 2011, correct. And there is one more.
49 Billy King.
Correct, 2006, 2012. Well done, Jordan. And I tell you what, just let's let Jordan show off. There are and the other 8. Let's see if you could have got them.
158 Shane Davies.
No.
Yep.
9.
No, Shane Davis hasn't.
331 Boxer Jack.
I already said, but Shane Davis, unless I've got my list wrong, he hasn't won a PRI championship since 2000.
No, right. 47 Andrew Davis.
Not since 2000.
He won it in 2001, didn't he?
No, he did.
He not?
Yeah, you are completely right. 2001, 2003.
Question Master doesn't even know. It's something.
Teething troubles. Call it teething troubles.
998 Wayne Cottrell.
2004.
Here we go. This one's ambitious. I'm not too sure. 46 Malcolm Fuller.
No. That's fair enough.
Oh.
Okay.
Can I see if any of mine would have worked?
Go on then.
I'm pretty sure. So I'm one of my favourite drivers. I'm not sure if it was 2000s though. Goldfinger, Alan Trickett. Was that? Is he 96 or something? Or is that in the 2000s?
It was before 2000. It's not on the list.
Okay. The only other one I had in mind was Dale Hughes, but I have a feeling that.
No. Okay, so I'll give you some clues.
Yeah,
for the other ones.
Didn't Pikey ever win it?
No. Right, I'll give you some clues. Right, who won the last ever PRI, the last Arena Essex Championship?
Adam Hitchcock.
Dean Goodall.
Well, Hitchcock is one, but it was Dean Goodall. Another midnight runner.
Oh, Scott Cornish.
Scott Cornish. Potentially greatest of all time.
Jack Overy.
2008. There is controversy about whether he won another world championship since this 2002 one.
Brett Ellicott.
DWA's Brett Ellicott. And the other ones were number 2.
Georgie Lee.
And 99 in 2000.
99.
Number 99. Won it. Yeah, Richie Ahern.
Richie Ahern, yeah.
Okay. Right. That's 3-1. Do you want to do the last one? It's not as long as that one. We'll say.
Why not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
Go on, and this will be Jordan.
Redemption.
Jordan and Ed. Actually, no. I'm going to give you. I'll give the losing team the first bid on this one. It should be the other team, but I think that's unfair. Right. There are 8 of these, and it's winners of the Champion of Champions since 2011.
Oh no!
Oh no!
No, sorry. Since 2010, not since 2011. There's 8.
Okay, I don't even know the current off the top of my head. It's annoying because I know the rookie one, but I don't know the unlimited one. That's a first. Again, I could probably take a few stabs, but this is probably going to be another one which I pass over. I'll say start off with 2.
Jordan and Ed?
We can do 4.
4.
I have no
I think
idea.
I might just leave it to them again.
Okay, guys. 4.
I'm
go for
trying
it.
to go through it.
Go for it with 4 then.
25, Joe Parsons.
Correct. Current and reigning champion from 2018.
331, Jason Jackson, Boxer Jack.
Correct. 2015.
190, Steve Bailey Pikey.
Correct. Won it twice. 2010, 2014.
And since what, 2010 are we doing?
2010.
I'll be honest, Ed, do you have a clue?
I was going to throw Jack over him, but I don't think so. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll go Jack over because I'm struggling to think.
Oh, you've got some redemption back, Dom and Matt. No. Okay, so the other winners would have been 455, Ricky Finney.
Yeah.
2011. 2012, won by a multiple-time Brisker F1 and Brisker F2 champion.
Rob Speak.
2013 was won by a very famous Midlands name. Got another member of his family racing as well. Another member of his family is a former Speedworth World Champion.
Holdsworth?
Neil McPhillamy.
Oh, yeah.
2016 was 887.
Rob Browning.
Browning, and 2017 was 717.
Jack Tuffin.
Tuffin. Okay, so that concludes the game, and it is 3-2 to Ed and Jordan. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get
Where's
Fred
the
all done.
A Freddo each, yeah.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was quite fun.
It was quite fun, James.
I mean,
and as Jordan would agree, it's always fun to be on the winning team.
None of it apart from Speedworth World Finals was my speciality, to be honest. But as always, next time.
Yeah, we're gonna do Vans for the next one, Matt.
Yeah, call yourself a banger act. Call yourself the original banger act, Josey. I don't think so.
Nah,
I mean,
I don't.
I think where I went wrong there in terms of making it a competition was giving Jordan PRI World Champions.
Well, you did.
Yeah, because then you could have given me. Because then you could have given me Ringwood Van World Champions, and I might 5 or 6.
You could have given me Tipperary Raceway All Comers Race 2 winners in 1998. You know.
I think the massive trick shot was Jordan saying white with red cross flag over green flag. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, and then me saying my favourite flag being the red flag when my commentating catchphrase is green, green, green. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny though, isn't it? Because the pressure's on, and it's just what comes to your mind. Like,
I know,
the Champion of Champions ones we could have done, but yeah, that was difficult.
Then when you give them the answer, you go, exactly, yeah. And I think we're the final part of the show. Now, for a change, this is very long, and we're very happy that it's very long. It's the fixtures now. We should have probably got a bit of background music for this one, because we're basically fixtures for we've a couple of days, actually. It's not just Saturdays and Sundays. Don't forget, the Bank Holiday weekend coming up. We have a few midweek fixtures after that, and then we've one or two more fixtures for the weekend after that. So we'll begin. We really need background music for this one, James. So if we've this many fixtures again in the future, you need to sort something, okay? Probably not the team tune supermarket sweepers, what I might do. But we'll begin with this Saturday coming 29th of May. Kings Lynn at 5:30. All Bluebird, Cavalier, Primera and Carina bangers. And also all Sunny and all Almira bangers and 1300 stock cars. So yeah, contact form is on the Shale. That'll do nicely. Up to Scotland and Lochgelly, we've Super Stocks, Back to Basics bangers, CC Rods, Ninja Carts and Junior Productions. Then Mildenhall, we've spoken about already at 5 o'clock. Big Van bangers, Junior bangers, and National Saloon stock cars. So another full contact meeting there. And then the 30th and the 31st is Saturday, Sunday, and we've already spoken about it. Ilfracombe in Devon, the Dave and Sandy Memorial Meeting for Cancer Research and the British Heart Foundation. Also the same day, Northampton Shaleway, 4 o'clock with bangers, Brisket F1 and Brisket F2. So yeah, if you like full contact racing on Saturday, this coming Saturday, you've a tough decision on your hands, really. So the following day, Sunday, 30th of May, Aldershot, again we've spoken about, 1300 stock cars, Back to Basics bangers, Ninja Carts and stock rods. Skegness at 1 o'clock, Rookie bangers, basically non-Hondas, Brisket V8 stock cars, 2-litre saloons, Formula 2 heritage cars and junior rods. Smearthorpe, we've spoken of this one as well. 1 o'clock, Unlimited bangers, Crasherama, stock rods and Back to Basics, basically Unlimited Back to Basics. Yarmouth at 5 o'clock, National Micro bangers, National Heart rods and Super stocks. Barford at 12:30 on the Sunday, that is Back to Basics bangers, junior bangers and mini F2s. Bank Holiday Monday, 31st of May, Buxton Raceway. You've Caravan Racing and a DD, Brisket F2, Rebels, 1600 bangers, 1300 saloon stocks, Northern Championship, and Open Hot Rods. Eastbourne at 1 o'clock, Big Vans, Rookie Rods, and the historic stock cars. So, yeah, probably the best support formula you can get for bangers apart from 2-litre saloons. The National Historic stock cars are fantastic. They're a personal favourite of mine, but I won't hold the bias a bit too much. Then Hensford, 1 o'clock, Back to Basics again, Grand Prix Midgets and Lightning Rods. Ipswich at 1 o'clock, 2-litre hot rods, more Back to Basics and National Hot Rods. Kings Lynn, 1 o'clock, Big Vans, Siamese bangers, 2-litre stock cars and Reliant Robbins. Mendips, we've Robbins, Caravan Demolition Derby and 2-litre Nationals. Onken Raceway in the Isle of Man, attracted I won one of James's quizzes with, just stock car racing. So if you find yourself in the Isle of Man on Monday, you've nothing to do, go there. Skegness Raceway, again, Banger Caravan Destruction Derby. St. Day Auto Speed, Back to Basics. We move forward about Wednesday, 2nd of June, Eastbourne Banger Sussex Championship, and more Back to Basics. On Thursday, the 3rd of June, Yarmouth, Back to Basics with the vans. Then on Saturday, the 5th of June, we've Unlimited War of the Worlds teams and junior bangers at Kings Lynn, which is raising awareness for men's mental health with CAM. The new start time of 5 o'clock. Again, Mildenhall, 5 o'clock. Decisions in East Anglia, obviously. We've under 2-litre national bangers. Sunday, the 6th of June, I'm looking forward to this one for some reason. We're back at Tully Roan for the Unlimited National Bangers, King of Crash. And then, as already discussed, at the Aldershot, the Undercracker 3-litre sponsored meeting. So, yeah, there's plenty of meetings coming up over the next 10 days. Support them where you can. Obviously, check the promoter's website beforehand, because some of them you will need to pre-book the tickets before you get there. There will be no money taken at the gate.
How good does it feel? How good does it feel to have that many fixtures out for the next week and a little bit?
It does, and I think for certain people there's going to be an awful lot of debate going on as to which one to go to, because, I mean, I know if I was deciding myself, it would be extremely difficult. It nearly be a case saying, right, which finger can I do without? But yeah, it should be good. And then obviously the following week, which is, I'm just flicking through the calendar to get the dates right, because an awful lot of the calendars seem to be still stuck from a year or two ago. On the 10th of June, we'll be back for Cage Full Throttle episode 58. We'll probably discuss most of those meetings and some of the even more big upcoming meetings. But like we said, we spoke about it earlier. You don't know what you have until it's gone. You don't appreciate it until it's gone. It's now back, so make the most of it. Support the meetings. Go to the meetings if you can. Don't be commenting on Facebook going, is anybody going live? Get your ass there. Go and watch it. Enjoy the smell, the sounds. It's all better when it's in front of your face.
And Matt Josey's moaning again.
Oh yeah, Matt Josey's moaning again. We're definitely back. We had a few options to moan about over last weekend. But yeah, but I mean, you know, this is it. This is what people want. It's back. So support racing, support Wheelspin Magazine, support Cecil's Rent a Rookie. It's all back to enjoy. So make the most of it. But any closing thoughts now? It is just a case of we've so much coming on there this weekend. We're back racing, boys. And girls, sorry, Steph.
Yeah,
think
back
so.
racing, and I'm probably looking forward to my return to trackside this weekend. So see you later if you're going.
Yeah, my closing
Don't
thoughts.
forget
Don't forget.
Yeah, so my closing thoughts are just after it's been such a good week being back at trackside, I miss that feeling of coming back tired, dirty, full of oil, feet aching, but I'm so glad to be back.
And don't forget your dirty cheeseburgers, those lovely cheesy chips, your curry and chips. Oh, it's all back.
That's what you like, Matt. We normally bring our Freddos with us.
I've got loads of Freddos in the fridge at the moment, actually.
And don't forget too, if you want to really support Cage and look awesome at trackside, check out Jacked Racewear. You can buy Cage hoodies, Cage t-shirts, Cage hats. Yeah, look extra cool and be one of the in things. It is basically the best oval racing fashion to wear a Cage hoodie. Never mind
And
any other.
soon you can get a cushion with Ed's face on, which is a new product.
So basically, you can sit on my face, Matt. I didn't think you were into that.
Now,
You don't
boys.
know what I'll get up to.
Now, boys. We're only just back. We're only just back on air. Let's not get us taken off straight away.
Well, we did call the team Van Love, so you know.
Yeah, but you've got trashed by the legend, so don't forget that. But yeah, it's been a very hectic podcast, episode 57. It only remains for me to say thank you very much to the panelists for the evening. I know we had a few technical problems, but thank you very much, Dan Brock.
Yeah, sorry everyone. My laptop decided to have a stroke, so I'm on my phone tonight. But I'll look to see if I can get something sorted next time, and hopefully it will all be nice and sound, and I won't be rushing around trying to find out driver numbers and race winners. So thank you all for your patience, and it's good to be back.
That's it. He'll be back in the saddle before long. All the bad habits will go away. But yeah, he saved himself there with his exceptional bar knowledge. Thank you very much, Jordan Hollands.
Yep, thank you, Ed. Thank you, everyone else. And yeah, good to be back.
Yeah, thank you very much. I know he came dressed in his robes for this evening, the leader of Cage. Thank you very much, Matt Josey.
Thanks, Ed. It's been lovely to hear your Irish accent again. And James's Brummie accent.
Well, no, I know, Matt. I know you've been a representative of the Queen's English since the start, so yeah, it's good to hear that as well. But yeah, he's already been mentioned, our favourite half Irish, half Brummie, half Londoner. That basically makes him a third of each. He's the man who basically made it all happen. He's the technical genius. Thank you very much, James Keane.
Thank you very much, Ed. Thank you to all you guys listening, and thanks to Jordan, Matt, Dom. It's been so good to be back, and I'm looking forward to being back in 2 weeks again, and look forward to what's hopefully going to be an excellent 2021 of racing.
This is it. We haven't said enough times, but we're back racing, support racing, understand racing, and appreciate racing, because it could be taken away from us again. Who knows? But yeah, that's my closing thoughts for the evening. I've been Ed Fahey. You've been listening to Cage Full Throttle Podcast, episode 57. Thank you, and we'll see you very soon at the track.